Owning your first home is exhilarating, but it's not all about painted walls and backyard barbecues. Seasoned homeowners, including Mini right here in Metro Detroit, will tell you that there are plenty of surprises that come with the new house keys. Today, we're counting down some surprising, some lesser known, and often misunderstood aspects of homeownership. These are the no one told me that lessons that first-time buyers and even long-time homeowners eventually learn. Buckle up and grab a Coney dog because we are from Detroit and of earners, because we're gonna go beyond the obvious to the truly unexpected. Number one, the never-ending money pit, aka maintenance mania. Okay, homeownership can sometimes feel like painting the Mackinac Bridge. By the time you finish, something needs repainting again. The amount of maintenance a home requires often shocks first-timers. Unlike renting, there's no landlord to call when the faucet leaks or the furnace quits on a frigid January night. Everything breaks down, often at the worst times. One new homeowner shared in the survey that within months of moving in, the washing machine was broken, water came into the lower level when the snow melted, and the driveway sank into a 3-foot hole. Like really, it actually happened. From leaky roofs to creaky floors to houses demanding constant TLC, tender loving care, and lots of cash, as well as the care, is not just fixing things and they break, it's also preventative care like cleaning gutters, changing furnace filters, repainting trim, and so on. Seasoned Metro Detroit homeowners know the freeze-thaw cycles can be brutal, and one small crack in the driveway in November might become a tire-sized hole by March. Every season introduces a new to-do list, and the surprise for many is how relentless and how costly this upkeep really is. One survey found that more than half of US homeowners were caught off guard by the actual cost of upkeep, and 32% even felt buyer's remorse over unexpected maintenance needs. The lesson hits hard, and even if your home is brand new or move-in ready, there's no such thing as maintenance free. Homeownership tip: budget for maintenance from day one. A common rule is to save 1% of a home's value per year for upkeep. Though older Metro Detroit homes might require a little more, have an emergency fund for those everything breaks at once moments. Furnace, roof, water heater, all decide to fail in the same year, and you're not handy. Start building a Rolodex of trusted contractors before you desperately need them. I know I do. Number two, the bills keep climbing, and I'm talking about taxes, insurance, and utilities galore. Buying a home isn't a one and done financial deal. The monthly bills can be sneaky and ever-changing. And sure, you budgeted for your mortgage, but did you account for property taxes, homeowners insurance, and utilities all rising over time? With a fixed rate mortgage, your principal and interest are going to stay the same, but escrowed expenses like taxes and insurance will creep up year over year. Costs will increase steadily, often quicker than you're prepared for, one homeowner warned. In fact, US homeowners spend an average of $9,000 per year on ongoing home ownership costs beyond just the mortgage principal and interest. These often overlooked expenses include things like property taxes, insurance, water and sewer bills, and regular maintenance. If you're renting an apartment, you might not have even paid a water bill, and now you get one every month. And in a larger house, expect your heating, cooling, and electricity bills to jump significantly compared to a small apartment. Metro Detroiters know that old houses can be drafty, and that charming 1920s Royal Oak bungalow might come with 1920s insulation. And don't be shocked when your first DTE energy bill for January is a jaw dropper because the furnace had to work overtime, DTE or consumers. Before we get to property taxes, as an FYI, DTE did just raise their rates substantially on electricity for homeowners in Metro Detroit. I want to put that out there. Although it was challenged in court, it was finally approved by the court, those increases. I know I saw that in my monthly bill go up. Now let's talk property taxes, especially the Michigan twist. In Michigan, property taxes are capped to rise only a small amount each year for existing owners. It's capped at either the inflation rate or 5%, whichever one is less. But once a home is sold, the tax is uncapped to the home's current market value. This is often called the pop-up tax, and it can pop up on your new monthly payment unexpectedly. New Metro Detroit homeowners are frequently stunned when their property taxes skyrocket for the first year because the bill was based on the previous owner's lower taxable value. Translation: that comfy payment you might have budgeted could go up by hundreds of dollars per month once the city uncaps and reassesses the property. And yes, homeowners insurance tends to inch up annually as well, especially if you make a claim or if rebuilding costs in the area rise. Homeowner tip: when calculating what you can afford, pad your budget. Make sure you can handle an extra 10 to 20% on top of your mortgage for those increasing costs. And as an agent, I provide my clients with the homeowner's tax history up front so we can see what the seller's paying and what the next owner is going to pay. As a real estate agent in Metro Detroit, I think that is exceptionally important because if you've got an owner that's owned the property for 10, 15, 20 years, those taxes could almost triple. In fact, there was one home a client of mine was looking at where the taxes were $3,600 per year. When I pulled the records, the taxes would have jumped to $8,100 per year. And that extra $400 a month was outside the budget that they wanted to be at. Could they afford it? Sure. But did they want to? No. And thankfully, we got them that information so they can make that informed decision before it was made for them. That's a good segue. My name is Mike Perna. I'm a local real estate agent here in Metro Detroit. I would be honored to get the call to chat about your next home purchase or your next home sale. We have over 2,900 five-star reviews. I've been in business here in Michigan working with families just like you for over 24 years, and don't hesitate to reach out. There's no obligation, and I'm always in for a good phone call. So at Metro Detroit, you got to ask your agent to do the research to estimate the uncapped taxes so you're not blindsided by that summer tax bill. Also consider getting a home energy audit. Better insulation or more efficient appliances can save on utility bills long term. If you're going to be there 10 years or more, this is a good idea. And always review your insurance coverage. You may need additions like sewer backup coverage, more on that later. That can slightly raise your premium, but save you thousands when disaster strikes. Number 3, sticker shock after a closing. Furniture, guys. Oh my God, and house gear expenses. So you've scraped together the down payment and the closing costs and the inspection and the appraisal. And now we're ready for round 2 of spending, making the home actually livable. So new homeowners are often floored by how much it costs to furnish and equip a home. Costs have skyrocketed in the last 5 years. So that cute house with lots of windows, it might come naked, as in no blinds or curtains. Window treatments are shockingly pricey, and one stunned buyer that got a quote for custom drapes and blinds came back at $25,600. And that is seriously not a misspeak, not a typo. So even if you go DIY or the IKEA route, covering dozens of windows adds up fast. And then there's the appliances and the gadgets. Did the seller take the fridge, the washer, or dryer? If yes, you're suddenly appliance shopping. Even if appliances are included, you may want a better stove or a second freezer in the garage. Hello, buying in bulk at Costco, by the way. Costco's always my best friend. And we can't forget the less glamorous purchases. Moving from an apartment to a home means you need tools and house gear that you never needed before. Lawnmowers and garden hoses and a rake and a shovel and a snowblower and a ladder and a drill and a hammer and a classic tool set. The Home Depot shopping list for new homeowners seems and feels endless. And those costs easily climb into the thousands or even tens of thousands if you start from scratch. So many folks find themselves hosting their housewarming party with guests sitting on folding chairs. My parents did that, because the living room furniture isn't in the budget yet. And it's all part of the initiation into home ownership. You might be house poor, like I was when I bought my first property, and furniture poor for a while. Homeowner tip: before you buy a home, take an inventory of what you have and also what you need to purchase in the first year. Budget for some essentials like a lawnmower or a lawn service contract, basic tools, window coverings, and at least a few sticks of furniture in key rooms. You can save by gradually furnishing, focusing on one room at a time. Scour estate sales. Metro Detroit has plenty of great estate and garage sales, by the way, especially in the spring. We do put a list of those on our blog, so definitely Google thepernateam.com. Go to our blog. We put that list out usually second week of April of the known garage and estate sales. And consider cheaper temporary solutions like curtains from Target now, custom blinds later. Also ask the seller during negotiations if they're willing to include the appliances or even some furniture. It never hurts to ask. You might save yourself a big expense short term if the seller was planning to get rid of that bare fridge or patio set anyway. I mean, I've got 2 extra patio sets for that reason. Number 4, lawn and order. Okay, yard work is no joke. For many first-time homeowners, having a yard is a dream come true until that first weekend when the grass is up to your shins and you realize that you're the one that has to mow it. Maintaining a yard and landscaping is a surprisingly large time and money sink. As a renter, you probably never gave the lawn a second thought. It just happened thanks to the landlord or the HOA. Now, welcome to the world of mowers, weed whackers, fertilizers, and sprinkler systems. Lawn care can be expensive and labor intensive, even if you do it yourself. You might shell out hundreds or even thousands for a decent lawnmower, plus trimmers and leaf blowers and edgers and more. If you opt to hire services, those weekly cuts and seasonal cleanups in Metro Detroit can cost quite a bit. Budget anywhere from $30 to $50 per mow, plus extras for fall leaf removal or spring mulch. And speaking of leaves, Michigan's beautiful maples and oaks are gonna blanket your yard every autumn. And somebody's gotta rake or mulch them, and now that someone is you. So think that's it? Not quite. There's also flower beds to tend, or weeds will party there, bushes to trim, and possibly gardens to cultivate. New subdivision homeowners are sometimes astonished at how fast the jungle encroaches. Pro tip, the grass really does seem to grow faster as soon as you own it, and that must be Murphy's Law of lawn care. In the summer, you're gonna be watering the lawn or garden during dry spells, which nudges your water bill up, of course. If your new house has an irrigation system, think sprinklers, congrats. You now have sprinklers to maintain and winterize every year. Metro Detroit communities often also have ordinances. Grass too high or weeds out of control, you might get a friendly, or in some cities, not so friendly, violation notice from the city. Yep, the city of Novi or the city of Troy can actually fine you for having a lawn that looks like a scene from Jumanji. Owning a home means owning the responsibility for every inch of the yard, front and back. Many first-timers underestimate just how much work a yard can be until they're spending every Saturday morning wrestling a lawnmower or planting mums. Homeowner tip: if you've never maintained a yard, do a little homework. Price out lawn equipment or lawn services before you buy a home so you know what you're in for. Start with basic tools: a good mower, maybe electric or battery power to avoid the gas maintenance, a rake, a shovel, a hose, a snow shovel for winter. Consider setting aside a small annual budget for landscaping needs like plants and mulch, and maybe hiring help for the big jobs like putting in a deck. Also, get to know your neighbors. In many Detroit area neighborhoods, neighbors love to share tips or lend tools. Who knows, you might even have a generous neighbor who will lend you their leaf blower or help jumpstart your snowblower. And if a yard work isn't your thing, budget for a service or maybe look for a condo or a home maintenance provided community to save your weekends. Number 5, winter is coming. Every year, snow and cold surprises. Okay, so Metro Detroiters are no strangers to snow, but experiencing a winter as a homeowner is a whole new ballgame. Remember that when a big snowstorm hits and your apartment complexes magically plowed the parking lot and shoveled the sidewalks? Now you are your own snow removal crew. After the first heavy snowfall in your new home, you might open the door to a driveway buried in a foot of snow and realize, oh, I gotta deal with that myself. Clearing snow is hard work, hence the shock when many first-timers find themselves buying a snowblower for $800 or $1,000 or throwing out their back, shoveling the driveway at 6 a.m. so they can get to work. In Michigan, you're also typically legally required to shovel a sidewalk for pedestrians. Cities like Detroit, Ferndale, Royal Oak, Ann Arbor, Rochester Hills, they can ticket homeowners that don't clear public sidewalks in a timely manner. So add snow shovel before having coffee to your winter morning routine. And don't forget ice. You're gonna need to salt the front porch and steps unless you fancy a little ice skating rink right outside your front door. I know I've fallen down outside my front door before. One piece of advice: invest in a sturdy snow shovel and an ergonomic one. Your spine is going to thank you. So cold weather brings other challenges too. Heating bills are going to be a lot higher than what you paid for in a small rental. A larger space, older windows, or less insulated walls can make January and February energy costs actually quite dramatic here in Michigan. You're going to quickly learn tricks to keep the cost down, like sealing drafty windows or using a smart thermostat, or do what my parents do and keep the house at like 42 degrees and you just bundle up and layer up and bundle up and layer up. It's like freezing over there. Not mad about it. We're good. My parents and I, we're good. We're good. Also, winter can physically attack your house. Pipes can freeze and burst if not properly insulated or you forget to winterize outdoor faucets. Pro tip: if you're new to Michigan winters, always disconnect your garden hose and shut off the exterior water line before the freeze hits, or you might end up with a pipe burst and an impromptu outdoor pool or a pool in your basement. And over time, everybody in Metro Detroit has their own freeze story. For example, one Metro Detroit homeowner discovered 2 pipes in his house that always freeze when the temps dip below 20 degrees. His solution? On the frigid nights, he opens the cabinet doors and lets the water trickle to prevent ice blockages. You learn these quirks and preventative measures only after an incident or a near miss usually. And let's not forget ice dams. Those pretty icicles that are coming off your roof can actually mean trouble as melting snow freezes the eaves and forces water under your shingles. The surprise for new homeowners is how much winter prep a house might need: cleaning gutters in the late fall to prevent ice dams, servicing the furnace so it doesn't conk out on the coldest night, or maybe just getting your chimney cleaned if you plan on using the natural fireplace. Winter will certainly test your home's mettle and your mettle as a homeowner. Homeowner tip: plan ahead for winter each year. Budget in the fall snow removal needs, whether that's buying a snowblower or hiring a plow service for your driveway, or just getting good gloves and ice melt salt. Have your furnace inspected or tuned up annually. The cost is minor compared to a no heat emergency in January. That's a major problem. If your home is on the older side, consider an energy audit or simple insulation projects like heat shrinking window films or extra attic insulation to save heating costs. And as always, winterize outdoor spigots and sprinkler systems before the freeze. In Detroit's climate, Metro Detroit's climate, an hour spent draining pipes and sealing gaps can prevent a very expensive midwinter plumbing disaster. Basically, respect the winter and it will be a lot kinder to you and your house. Number 6, DIY University. Guess what? You're the handy person now. So one of the most misunderstood aspects of owning a home is how much knowledge and skill you suddenly will need to develop. Remember when something broke in your rental or your apartment, you just call maintenance? As a homeowner, you're maintenance, and you're gonna be amazed at the random things you're gonna need to learn or figure out. A first-time homeowner from Metro Detroit might find themselves Googling how to fix a running toilet at 11 p.m. or learning the hard way how to reset a trip circuit breaker when half the house loses power. It can be daunting, but you will learn, and it can even be empowering. One new homeowner admitted, "Before, I barely knew how to use a screwdriver, but now I'm tackling all sorts of maintenance tasks from fixing leaky faucets to patching drywall. I've gained a ton of new skills." Owning a home is like an accelerated course in do-it-yourself. You're going to pick up plumbing basics, learn which breakers control the kitchen, figure out how to relight the pilot on a gas hot water heater, and even get comfortable poking around in the crawl space or attic. YouTube and DIY blogs will become lifesavers. You can find a tutorial for just about anything, whether it's recaulking a bathroom tub or quieting a squeaky floorboard, and let's be honest, there's a pride in fixing things yourself. The first time you successfully snake a clogged drain or replace a light fixture, you're going to feel like a domestic superhero. I know I did. On the flip side, the amount of knowledge required can be a huge surprise. Homes don't come with an instruction manual, though they really should. You'll gradually assemble your own mental manual, where the main water shutoff valve is, how to shut off the gas in an emergency, what that mysterious switch in the hallway does, or maybe you'll never figure that out. Like Detroit area homes especially can have quirks, especially if they're older, and you may want to familiarize yourself with things like sump pumps, for groundwater, fuse boxes in very old homes, or even older boiler radiator systems in some classic Metro Detroit homes. It's a lot, and no one really prepares you for it. So many homeowners confess to countless frantic calls to parents or handyman friends in their first year, but with each little project or repair, you gain confidence. By year 2 or 3, you'll know the home like the back of your hand, and those repairs won't seem quite as intimidating. You might even find yourself offering advice to others on how to fix a radiator or how to fix a misfiring garage door sensor, and who knew? Like, that's a real thing. This is the surprising journey from clueless to competent that nearly every homeowner undergoes. Embrace the learning curve. Make it a point to know your house. Locate the main shutoff valves, label your circuit breaker panel if it's not labeled already, read the manuals for your furnace and appliances, invest in a basic toolkit, and maybe a homeowner's guidebook. There are great books on Amazon on how to fix common household issues. Actually, I'll link to a couple below. And don't be afraid to try simple repairs, but also know your limits. If a project involves major electrical, deep plumbing, or anything you're uncomfortable with, call a professional. There's no shame in getting an expert help. If it were me, I'd find a handyman and keep their number handy for just odd jobs beyond your skill. I do. Also, consider taking a basic workshop at Home Depot. Some local home improvement stores around Metro Detroit offer free classes on things like installing tile or repairing drywall. And remember, every expert was once a beginner. Even that handy neighbor that now builds his own deck started out not knowing the difference between a flathead and a Phillips head screwdriver. You'll get there one YouTube tutorial at a time. And if you're getting value from this video, smash the like button so that more people just like you that could use this information see it pop up in their YouTube feed, because that's how the algorithm works. And thank you. Thank you very much for that. Number 7, say goodbye to some free time. Hello, Home Depot weekends. Okay, we talked about maintenance and DIY, but let's address another shocker, the time investment. Homeownership can feel like a part-time job sometimes. Many new homeowners are surprised when they realize that their weekends have a new purpose. Saturday mornings might transform from sleeping in or brunching in Midtown to roaming the aisles of Home Depot or Ace Hardware with a shopping list of miscellaneous items, air filters, grass seed, that weird-sized light bulb only your bathroom vanity takes. Owning a home will claim a chunk of your free time, especially in the first year as you get things set up. Instead of Netflix binges, you might be finding yourself saying, I really need to install those new smoke detectors and touch up the paint in the guest room. It's not that you can't relax and have fun, but the house often speaks up for your attention whenever you have downtime. There's always something. Mowing the lawn as covered, cleaning gutters, reorganizing the cluttered garage, or researching which gutter guards or security cameras to buy. It can be oddly satisfying. Some folks discover they enjoy puttering around the house and the yard, but it's definitely a lifestyle adjustment. The other time consumer is dealing with contractors or service people, waiting around for the cable guy, meeting the plumber for a quote, letting the HVAC tech in for a tune-up. It can eat into work hours or personal time, and first-time buyers often don't anticipate how much scheduling and calling and waiting is involved in keeping a home running smoothly. Need a roof repair? That might mean 3 to 4 afternoons meeting with roofing companies for estimates. Even something as simple as getting your trees trimmed means being home on a weekday to oversee it. And all these little time sinks add up. And if you dive into home improvement projects, that's a whole nother vortex of time. Like painting a room, for example, isn't an hour affair. It's moving furniture, it's taping, it's cutting in edges, it's doing coats and cleanup, and easily a full weekend is gone. Binge watching HGTV gave many of us the false impression that renovations happen in a snap montage. The reality is, projects almost always take longer and are messier and are more expensive than you think. A quick bathroom update could sprawl into weeks of evenings or multiple weekends if you're DIYing between day jobs. This isn't meant to scare you, but just to highlight the truth. Owning a home will change how you spend your time. It's a commitment. It's not just money, but time and effort. And that said, a lot of homeowners find joy in this and peace in this, like gardening, decorating, building a workshop in the basement. So your leisure activities might simply shift rather than disappear. Homeowner tip, Time management as a homeowner is key. You don't have to do everything at once. Prioritize tasks by a season and urgency. Make a home to-do list and spread projects out so you don't burn out or alienate your friends by never being available to hang out. It's also okay to hire out tasks that are too time-consuming or that you truly dread. No time to mow the lawn during a busy month. Hire the teenager down the street or a lawn service for a bit. Also, schedule time off from house duties. Plan a fun outing or a lazy Sunday on occasion and ignore the housework. It will still be there tomorrow, guys. It will. And finally, when you do have a big DIY project, bribe some friends or some family to help. Offer pizza and drinks in exchange for painting help, for example. It turns chores into a social affair and shares the load. Number 8, neighbors. They are the wild card factor. Okay, you can pick your house, you can pick your house colors, but you can't pick your neighbors, and they could be one of the biggest wild cards in home ownership. So many first-time home buyers focus on the house itself and forget to consider that they're also joining a neighborhood community. The people living next door or across the street can really affect the quality of your life for better or worse. As one homeowner put it, they can make or break your experience. You might move onto a street of super friendly Metro Detroit neighbors who bring over casseroles and invite you to summer barbecues. Or you might discover that the folks next door love to blast music at 2 a.m. or let their dog use your yard as a toilet. Surprise, in real estate we say love that neighbor, and it's not just a proverb, it's practically a requirement for a happy home life. And it goes both ways. You might become the noisy neighbor if you're not careful. Ever assemble IKEA furniture with a hammer at midnight? Your walls are thinner than you think. But there are heartwarming surprises, like an elderly neighbor becomes a grandparent figure, or the family down the block turns into your close friends watching your house when you're out of town, and vice versa. We've seen Metro Detroit neighborhoods where everyone truly looks out for each other, snowblowing each other's driveways in winter or having block parties in the summer. Those positive relationships are an underrated joy of homeownership. On the flip side, unpleasant neighborhood situations can become a nightmare. The guy that revs his motorcycle early every morning, or the neighbor whose yard is a jungle bringing down everyone's home values, or disputes over property lines and fences or tree branches. And yes, people do fight over where a tree branch hangs. It's surprisingly common. So new homeowners are caught off guard by how much neighbors matter. In apartments, neighbors come and go. In a neighborhood, you're in more of a permanent relationship with these folks. And bad blood with a neighbor can sour your whole experience of home. I always advise take a good look at the neighborhood before you buy. Drive by at different times, maybe chat with some nearby residents. You might save yourself from buying the house of your dreams in the middle of Hades, as one person hilariously said. Homeowner tip, once you move in, make an effort to introduce yourself and just be a good neighbor. Even just smiling and waving can go a long way to establishing friendly terms. If you're in Metro Detroit, you're going to find that most communities have an informal Facebook group or next door groups, and joining these can clue you into local happenings and sometimes some drama. But don't rely solely on digital. Face-to-face matters. If issues arise like noise or a wandering pet, address them politely and early. Don't let resentment fester. Most people will be reasonable if approached kindly. Also, be mindful of your own impact. Follow local norms for quiet hours. No leaf blowing at dawn on a Sunday, for example. And finally, if you find yourself really struggling with a neighbor issue, it happens, know your rights. There are noise ordinances and codes and even some mediation services in some cities. At the end of the day, remember, these folks live next to you probably for years. A little goodwill and communication can prevent a lot of headaches and create a supportive little community right around you. Number 9, HOA rules and city codes. Freedom, sort of. Oh, that gave me like a George Michael moment. He had a song called Freedom. Died before his time. Okay, one big perk of owning a home is freedom to do what you want with your property to an extent. So this is where many new homeowners will get a rude awakening. Homeowner association rules, municipal codes, and zoning laws can put a damper on your wildest home improvement dreams. I know it did for me. I'll tell you about that in a moment. If your home's in a subdivision or a condo complex with an HOA, you likely signed a stack of covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CC&Rs, at closing. But who actually reads it? Spoiler alert, you should, or you might paint your house neon green and get slapped with a violation. HOAs can dictate everything from where you can build a fence, whether or not you can build a fence, to what color your front door can be, or if you're allowed to park a work van in your own driveway. Many first-timers don't realize how strict HOAs can be, and Metro Detroit has plenty of neighborhoods with HOAs, especially in newer subdivisions. They keep things looking uniform and tidy, and that's a good thing, but it also means your freedom to say, put a 12-foot skeleton or park your beloved fishing boat in the side yard could be curtailed. Although I would still put the 12-foot skeleton up. I do actually, I put 2 of them up. This year 3. I digress. It's a surprise to those who are renting, where the idea of too much freedom was never an issue. You already had restrictions. Now you own the place, but you still have a quasi-landlord in the form of the HOA or the city telling you no. Even without an HOA, city and county rules can affect you. Want to add a deck or a shed? You probably need a building permit and must follow setback rules, how close to the property line you can build. Want to cut down a big tree on your property? Some cities require permits or have ordinances protecting trees. Perhaps you're envisioning raising chickens in your backyard for fresh eggs. I know I'd love to do that. Check Check the local laws. Some Metro Detroit suburbs allow it, some ban it. One new homeowner shared a tale. They discovered that their property had utility pipelines running underneath, which meant that they couldn't build a shed or plant large trees in certain parts of the yard. And the utility had the right to come and remove trees, fences, or sheds if needed, and not replace them. Another said, make sure to look at what borders your property. That empty lot could turn into a new development or a road expansion due to zoning changes. The gist is, external factors and rules can limit what you thought was unlimited freedom. It's often your home, your rules, but the city's rules and the HOA rules and frankly physics rules, you can't say add a second story without ensuring the structure can handle it, right? Those will still dictate. Homeowner tip, do your homework on any HOA or local zoning regulations before making changes and before buying the home. If you're in a HOA, get a copy of the rules and actually skim through it for key restrictions like common ones, vehicle and parking rules, fence and shed guidelines, paint color approvals and pet limitations. Attend an HOA meeting if you can. Being involved helps you stay informed and possibly change rules if they're silly with enough support. So in conclusion, owning a home is an adventure, especially here in Metro Detroit where we face blazing summers, snowy winters, and everything in between. From the outside, homeownership might look like a simple progression of life, but once you're in it, you discover the countless surprises and lessons and rewards it will bring. It's gonna test you, like how many YouTube tutorials can one person actually watch? You're gonna find out. And it will teach you. You're finally gonna understand what a trap under the sink is. It might tighten your wallet, it might fill up your schedule, but it'll also fill your heart with pride and your life with memories. The key takeaway, go into homeownership with eyes wide open. Expect the unexpected. That way, when surprises come, you can tackle them with a smile or at least a determined grimace. And remember, you're not alone. Every homeowner, even the most seasoned, is still learning and adjusting, and in the end, as challenging as some of these surprises can be, most homeowners, myself included, will tell you they wouldn't trade it for the world because there really is no place like home. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, we drop new videos about Metro Detroit and home ownership each and every week, especially things to do and cool things going on in Metro Detroit that a lot of people don't even know is happening. And if you're finding this information useful and you're considering purchasing a home, I would be honored to get the call just to chat for 20 or 30 minutes about what your homeownership plan is. Maybe I can add some value, add some connections, add some information to it so that you and your family can make the best decision for you.